First of all, if you can tell me where you think Hendon Hooker goes in the draft, Caleb, and we've discussed this throughout the week and before, but where you think he finally ends up going in the draft and the concerns, the pros and cons of taking Hendon Hooker. Because I want to go through them in 4 downs, but just broad scope, your thoughts.
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent. I think he's going to go in the second round to Seattle. I'm pretty big he's going to go to the Seahawks in the second round. And so I think that they have it's the perfect situation for him behind Geno Smith.
Okay. So let's get to 4 downs. And I'm going to ask you first down, what is a fair or not fair criticism of Hendon Hooker? So I want to start with footwork. I talked to a quarterback scout who told me that by design, Josh Heupel's offense limits what you do in terms of footwork. He wants to make it simple. So footwork, fair, not fair. Is that a fair criticism of Hendon Hooker?
I actually don't think that one is a fair criticism. I understand it, but I think footwork is something that you can pick up if you work in the system for a year. I mean, we saw that with Aaron Rodgers, had the worst footwork of any quarterback ever drafted and became a Hall of Fame quarterback with the Packers. So I think that as long as you have the work ethic and the focus and the intangibles, and I think Hooker does, I think footwork is something that you can fix in your game.
I think footwork is fixable. I think there are more coaches out there in the NFL that can fix it quickly. But the fact that he's probably, you wouldn't think, going to play for the first year, I think that's easily fixable. Even if he were going to play this year, I wouldn't push him with the ACL. But yes, it is very, very fixable. I don't think that's a concern. And the other thing is he's very, very coachable. All right, second down. Product of the offense. Is that a fair criticism? Fair or not fair?
Yes, but with the caveat. Hendon Hooker, his yards per attempt, which has always been his best stat, and his touchdown interception ratio, were still pretty good at Virginia Tech under Justin Fuente. They just got leaps and bounds better under Heupel, but anybody would take Hendon Hooker's stat line at Virginia Tech. He was averaging over 9.5 yards attempt his first year starting. But I still think you look at Drew Lock, and it's fair to hesitate to say, okay, it is Heupel schemes to get these receivers really open, and those are so easy that we don't know as much about Hooker. So that is a fair concern.
I think it is fair. I think it's fair. I don't think he has to make reads nearly as often because guys are running bare because it's just an incredibly well-run offense. So I think that's fair. ACL, fair, not fair?
Totally unfair. He's back throwing. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be totally fine when the fall comes.
An ACL is nothing, and especially if you would like for him to sit for a year. You mentioned the Seahawks. If he sits behind Geno Smith for a year, he's going to be fine. I mean, an ACL is nothing nowadays. There's not really an injury other than, God forbid, a head or neck or something like that takes you out of your game forever or sidelines you forever. I guess Alex Smith would be the one exception, but ACLs are nothing nowadays. I mean, it's just no. He's fine with that. All right, accuracy. A year ago, I would have said, if the question was heading into the season, is that a fair criticism? I would have said, heck yeah. I think he misses people. I think that he throws behind people and guys have to wait on it. I think he overthrows people. A year ago, I would have said that's a fair criticism. I'll go first this time. I don't think it's fair now. I think his accuracy got tremendously better last year, and I think that's just a product of being more comfortable.
Hence, we have our first, maybe one and only disagreement here.
Here we go.
I think it's fair. Not on the deep ball. I agree. Hendon Hooker has pretty good deep ball accuracy. He still misses on some deep balls. Let's be fair, but he hits some more. But over the middle, I mean, everybody. I see a lot of the message board talking about the Titans drafting Hendon Hooker. The Titans are a play action offense. Dave, you know this. In a play action offense, yes, you have an option over the top, but you always have to have that underneath route in a play action offense over the middle. You always need that underneath route. Can Hendon Hooker be trusted to make that underneath throw over the middle? We still don't know.
Okay, but my question would be, has he been asked to do that a lot?
I will say this. I don't know, but Joe Milton came in and they threw over the middle a lot, meaning it's not like it's not a part of their playbook, and they weren't using it at all. with Hooker. They weren't trying it at all against Georgia, if you remember. They were still trying to beat Georgia one-on-one on the outside consistently all game, which tells me that they didn't think Hendon Hooker could make those throws over the middle.
Well, I think you're going to see Joe Milton make some of those throws because of the skill set. Hendon Hooker, I believe, can adjust. I think he can take some heat off the ball. That's my biggest concern with Joe Milton is on those little flat routes and stuff. Is he going to throw it 100 miles an hour? You don't want that. But I like Hendon Hooker's ability to be able to adjust. So I'm going to say not fair there, but I certainly get where you're coming from.